What is up, side hustlers, entrepreneurs, business builders, and dream makers? Welcome to the Setting Your Side Hustle Podcast, episode 83. Great to be back in your earbuds once again. And today, I have a very special episode in store for you because today I'm going to share with you a recording that I made with a good friend of mine inside a private Facebook group that I run on bad cold outreach. And I'm just going to present that to you as a gift. So here it is. Bad cold outreach is something that's Lily and I started years ago with a brand that we were running at the time called Client Vending Machine. We ended up sunsetting that brand, and with that, we sunsetted the Bad Code Outreach show. And this is our first experiment of reintroducing it because we realized the content's still valuable, the audience is similar enough, you could still benefit from this. And basically, what we do on Bad Cold Outreach is we actually examine existing cold DMs and cold emails that we've gotten, and we kind of dissect them and we talk about what we think should be done differently. Basically, the philosophy here is that cold outreach as a marketing strategy can work, but most people do it so poorly that it doesn't work at all. And so the point isn't just to bash on bad cold outreach, it's to also hopefully educate on how to do good cold outreach so you don't ever end up having your outreach torn apart on the show. So this is kind of, like I said, our experiment into it, and we'll see based on kind of your reaction, your engagement, how it goes, how much we enjoy doing it, if we do more. And if we do, they're just going to be hosted inside the Side Hustle Facebook group. They might go onto our YouTube channel as well, but this is really where they're going to be live. This is where you're going to be able to interact with us live if you want to. And that's the pitch. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing today. I don't have anything prepped really. So
You have a good cold outreach, right?
I have an example of a good cold
Yeah.
outreach because there are people who do it well, and so those are good to look at too.
And then we have a member.
Yep. Someone inside the group here
Right.
submitted one, so we'll look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'll have to find it, but I'll do that while you're reading your good cold outreach. Whew. Let's do this. I'm going to read my bad cold outreach.
There we go.
It's been like a year since we've done this. I'm so excited.
Oh, it's been more than a year actually.
My voice is gone. Of
It's
course.
been more. It's been over 2 years.
It's been 2 years.
It's been over 2 years. Yeah.
It's horrible. Okay.
Because we never did it while I was in my last apartment, so it's been over 2 years.
Okay, can you see this?
I can see this. Yeah.
Okay, so I changed the information. Just so you know. So here we go. Can they see it? I'm not, like, the stream is lagging behind.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting to see.
Because it looks weird on Zoom.
Yep, they can see it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay. So this person reached out to me and said, "Hi, Lilith. I saw your profile on LinkedIn, which I had recently revamped, which is why I'm getting a lot of spam. And thought I would reach out. Impressive track record, by the way. No actual mention of what track record. If we can show you a proven way to add 35K to 50K a month from LinkedIn quickly, would you be interested? I have worked with 750 professional consultants, coaches, and business owners to help them develop a consistent lead flow of 10 to 20 qualified sales appointments per week quickly on LinkedIn, independent of referrals. LinkedIn is full of premium leads for coaching and training, and a gold mine to professional services professional service providers like you. If it's relevant, I want to connect over a quick call to help you plan out your LinkedIn strategy step by step so you can book 10 to 15 high quality sales appointments quickly. Open to a quick 5-minute call to explore. Thanks. And then I changed the name Vicky. So, I mean, I have so many immediate thoughts, but I'm wondering, Devin, just because it's the first time you're seeing this, what stands out to you, like, as the glaring issue with this?
So this is going to be at least somewhat comical because the thing that stands out the most to me is that 5 minutes isn't enough time to talk about anything that's worth talking about. Like, as weird as that is,
that's
like,
so funny. I didn't think about that.
Ask bugs me. I like so, and then, I mean, that's not really saying much about their outreach itself. But it's just a funny one where I'm just like, really, 5 minutes though?
Yeah.
So, the biggest thing is you can't actually promise 35 to 50K in increased revenue to anybody without knowing a lot about them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like a good preface is I feel like I can ask you, I'll be honest. Are you
Yeah.
making 35 to 50K in your business right now?
No.
Okay. So no, they can't do
Not
that
not
for
per
you.
month. Yeah.
Right. They can't add that if you're not already there. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but what the big one is like
Interesting.
scaling too quickly kills businesses.
Yeah.
And so, no, you can't add that much. Even if you can technically, no, you can't. It's irresponsible. But you
Mm-hmm.
also can't technically because someone who's not already at that level actually doesn't know what to do to make that work.
Yeah.
Like, and you giving me 10 sales calls a week or 25 sales calls a week and me getting on every single one of them,
Mm-hmm.
if I don't know how to sell, doesn't make much of a difference. So
Mm-hmm.
there's just a lot of things in there where it's like your promise is actually too big. Um, and
Yeah.
and actually there's another one too. Like this is an email. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're lucky this is an email because in any other format, this is non-compliant.
Oh, so this was a LinkedIn. It was they reached out to me on LinkedIn um and then on email.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure this is just a copy.
So even in LinkedIn, in DMs, you're not going to get in trouble unless you get reported to the platform.
Okay.
But you can't actually promise an income range. You can say up to 50K a month, up to 35, but you can't
Really
promise an income range because now you're telling me that you will guarantee I add a minimum of 35K a month to my business, and
interesting.
you can't make that guarantee.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the big one for me is you're non-compliant. In an email, you're okay. In a
Mm-hmm.
DM, you're not going to get in trouble. But if I report you, you can get your account banned.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not only unrealistic, but it's also irresponsible. So
Yeah.
um, and that's different than, by the way, if they were reaching out to you knowing that you have a business that's doing 200K a month,
Mm-hmm.
then they'd be like, hey, did you want to add an extra 35K to your business? Like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and I can do it. So let's talk.
That's such an interesting. I hadn't like it seems like now that I think about it, now that you say it, it's like, oh yeah, duh, that makes sense. But I guess I hadn't thought about that perspective of when people are like either asking to do this or people are trying to sell this. It's like, hey, make it extra like 100K a month or make this. It's like that sounds horrible. Like, do you realize what it takes
Mm-hmm.
to do that? You realize how much money you have to have coming in order to net that much? Do you realize the legal struggles that you'd have to go through in a month
Mm-hmm. And
or quickly? They don't promise a time frame. They say
if you
quickly.
grow that much too quickly, and this is why growth kills businesses. If you
Yeah.
actually grow that much that quickly, the result is the quality of your product, good, or service is going to tank.
Yeah.
The quality of your ability to respond to your clients is going to tank. And then
Mm-hmm.
what's inevitably going to happen is the majority of it will either be refunded or given back to your clients through disputes.
Yep.
Your credibility is going to be tanked and you will
Mm-hmm.
have to close the business because you can't salvage its reputation.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
that's the literal what happens if you go too quickly. Um,
Yep.
and let's say that you actually find a way to manage it. You're right. You just added so much to my plate, which is
Mm-hmm.
by the way, if you are an appointment setter or you run an appointment setting agency, like nothing against your agency because you'll see when I show my good cold outreach that I'm actually talking to appointment setters right now.
Yeah.
So I'm for the model. When you reach out and you say, hey, we can add an extra 30 appointments a month to your calendar, what you're telling me in most cases, because of how most appointment setters work, is, hey, can you pay me to waste your time? Because
Wow.
and so that's usually my response when I get cold DMs that are like, hey, I want to put appointments on your calendar. My response
Mm-hmm.
is usually, why would I pay you to waste my time?
Yeah.
Uh, because that most of the strategies that appointment setters use get you very low qualified appointments, very high no-show rate.
Mm-hmm.
And then they use very deceptive tactics, and then you have to work from being kind of put on the fence, which makes it a very hard sell. And it takes a ton of time. And usually when they say, can I give you 30 appointments a month? What they actually try to do is give you 30 appointments a day. Like usually they can over deliver dramatically.
Yeah.
So, but all that means is you're taking more and more of my time from what I could be using.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if I have a sales team, my sales
Yeah.
team could be working with higher quality leads because you're not my only lead source.
Yeah.
That's usually my response to appointment setters.
Interesting.
So why would I pay you to take away my most valuable asset, time?
Yeah.
You know?
That makes a lot of sense. Here, I just realized that people probably have a hard time reading this. And I'm realizing the error in my ways. But yeah, so I wrote back and said, lol 35 to 60K. That's not how LinkedIn works. And just because I was like, whatever. I felt like they needed a response.
You can make that through LinkedIn.
Yeah, but just like an extra, like just like from nothing. So to me, and this is the funny thing, I probably would have met with this person, not because I expect for them to deliver, just because I'm curious about who this person is. If this was customized,
Sure. And
I would just be fascinated. I'm like, who is promising 50K a month and customizing their messages?
Those of you who weren't around when we first did this show, like that was like the core of the
Yep.
show is take the 5 seconds to look at a profile and write something custom.
Yep.
If you're willing to do that, it's going to more than pay for itself in the time you save if you're manually DMing people.
Yep.
If you have a software that's DMing people, then like whatever.
Yeah.
If you're manually doing it, the 5 seconds that it takes to customize each one probably cuts the amount of ones that you're sending by a factor of 10, but it also increases your response rate by a factor of 10. It just works better.
Yeah. Definitely. And also the fact that like it's really interesting. 750 professional consultants, coaches, and business owners. Can I see some proof? Can I have a link?
Yeah.
Can I have testimonials?
Well, I guess this was the email. I was gonna say, if you're DMing on a platform, first time you DM, you can't send a link.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I say can't, like, I'm not saying it's technically impossible. I'm saying it's not smart.
Gotcha.
It's a very you're gonna get a yellow flag basically, and you can get your account shut down for doing it too much. So even like when people, I had this last night. Somebody commented on one of my posts and then reached out to me in the comments and said, "Hey, please send me your link for your book." And so I DM'd them and I said, "Hey, just starting the conversation before I send the link so that Facebook doesn't get mad."
Nice.
And they responded, "Yeah, don't get them too upset. They'll shut you down." And then I send them the link. And so you actually have to have an existing conversation in DMs before you send a link just to stay safe.
Yeah.
Via email, no, just send me the link.
I just noticed something interesting as well.
Yeah.
25 qualified appointments quickly on LinkedIn. Okay, so per week. So that's 100 appointments per month. Let's say on the high end. Promising also, let's say, well, you could even take on the low end and say 35K a month. So if they over deliver, if they get their high end of appointments and the low end of sales, so being as generous as possible with the math. Are you doing the math right now? That is, if you have 100% sales rate, you would need to charge what, 1,500? No, wait, yeah, 100, 3,500. Is that a $35? I'm so
no, it's not that bad. You have to charge $350.
$350. Well, that's with 100% sales rate. So if you get a 1% sales rate, which is a lot more common, or 10, I mean, like 1 to 10, then that's a $35,000 product.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, and that's like, is it beyond the realm of possibility? No. So is it likely?
I have a $5,000 product that I would be, if I have an appointment set or do something for me, I'm trying to sell a $5,000 product. And so if they give me 100 leads a month, they promise me 35 grand, I need 7 sales.
Okay, so it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. But then again, you're also like, you have a decade of experience in what you're doing and you're selling that decade of experience. For a
And
lot of the people that are messaging, they don't
and my,
have
my
that.
close rate is way higher on than 7% on warm traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't warm traffic. So
Yeah.
I would I'd look at that and be like, 7% sales rate seems like a decent target.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I know like quality of lead matters a lot. Um,
Yeah.
I can a
Yeah.
good warm lead, 25% close rate is pretty reasonable. If you have a beautiful system, you can get it up to a 50% close rate, but you're gonna just see that you have higher drop off before they actually get to a sales call.
Yeah.
But yeah, with cold traffic, I'd be like, 5% would be a good goal.
Mm-hmm. So it's just funny that they're like, that's like part of the pitch is that you could make this like in amazing money, but you have to close. So it's on you to close
Mhm.
a large number, like, for if you're like reaching out to solopreneurs, a large number for a solopreneur of clients at a high ticket price.
Right. And that's another one too. Actually, my $5,000 product that I'd want to be selling,
Yeah.
I don't want 7 clients a month.
Yeah. That's way too much.
No, that's the kind of like I could do it and I could do it a month, but I couldn't do it monthly. Where I'm just
Mhm.
like, I don't want to grow like that. Like maybe 12 months from now, I'll be like, yeah, we can take on 7 clients a month,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not next
Okay.
month.
Yeah. As a final thing, just because I don't want to spend too much time on this, but um, the funny thing, I'm just like going back to what you're saying is that like the perfect sales call is giving people genuinely helping them and giving them tools to actually start doing what you're telling them to do, and then they'll get to a point where they need to pay you because the amount of time and effort and that you are putting in warrants being paid. So it's like very natural. It's like, okay, yeah, you are helping me. I want more, so therefore I'll pay you for more.
Right.
Everyone's benefiting. No one's being taken advantage of or hurt.
That's
A
my my
5 minute call.
my favorite sales call strategy is effectively let's build out a map together on what we're going to do, on what you
Mm-hmm.
need to do. And then
Yep.
this is because I'm in marketing, right? And
Yeah.
then at the end of the call, we have the game plan. That's what we've
Mm-hmm.
done. And
Yep.
then my entire sales pitch is great. You have something that will absolutely work and help your business. Do you feel confident doing this on your own, or would you like to talk about doing it together?
Mm-hmm.
And then if they
Exactly.
say, well, yeah, let's talk about doing it together, like, okay, you just invited me to pitch you.
Yep.
Like,
That's
that's my
actually a really good. That's a good line. Everyone, you should post that independently or post a clip of that. Is That's a really good end line for a sales call. Do you feel comfortable doing this on your own, or would you like to do it together? And I've heard you say that, but
Mhm.
now that I'm doing like more sales right now, that really, yeah,
Yep. And so
is relevant.
I also like the way that now we're talking about sales a little bit. The way that I organize my sales calls almost always looks like this. I'll tell somebody at the beginning of the call, I like to break these calls into 2 steps or into 2 parts. In part
Yep.
one, I like to do a deep dive into you, what's going on with your business, what you're thinking, come up with a strategy that can help you get to whatever your next goal is. And then in part two, if it makes sense, I like to transition into talking about what it might look like to work together. How does that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Never once had anyone say anything besides sounds good. Never once. Everyone's always okay with it, which also means when we get to that point on the call, they've already agreed to it.
Yep. Yep.
So now we've talked. Hopefully, I've given them value. I'm like, cool. So we have about 10 minutes left in our scheduled slot here. To me, this would be a natural point to transition into that part two and talk about what it would look like to work together. How does that sound? You want to do that? And again, I've never had someone say anything other than yes, because to say no would be to disagree with past self. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
so they're like, yeah, let's hear it. I'm
Yeah.
like, great. So here's how we can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's probably like the big thing that stuck out to me as we were becoming friends is your outlook on sales. And of course, like over time it's evolved and changed and improved. But Yeah, the outlook of just no, I'm gonna help you, and you're going to want to pay me because it's in your best interest.
Mhm.
So like it's not there's no pressure, there's no me manipulating you or negatively, like unhealthily manipulating, because
Mhm.
manipulating is a neutral just tool. um if we're speaking clinically. uh yeah, I like that. Okay, you want to transition to your good cold outreach?
Yeah, give me like 2 seconds on that.
Okay, I'll vamp. I'll
Yeah, vamp
talk
for a little
about
bit.
what I am doing recently. I recently finished designing a brand new website, creating some new packages, and then I sold that package, and then I lost that client. So things are going great. And I compiled a list of 400 targets, and then that were all part of like the same national organization to do website development on. And then that national organization developed their own websites free, already done for those chapters. So my sales time is going great.
Yeah, you're having a good go at things.
Yeah. So
So
that's
that's
the
actually that's very similar. What you did is very similar to what I call just having platform risk.
yeah.
It's similar to like the problem of only making money off of like Facebook
Yep.
ads,
Yeah.
right? And it just it has those dangers.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
by the way, for listeners, I actually don't think that strategy wise Lily did anything wrong, because
Mm-hmm.
my recommendation is always start with one until you get it working,
Yeah.
then use your profits to develop other
Oh.
channels. And
Mm-hmm.
so you want multiple channels of like traffic sources, you want multiple lead channels as soon as possible because you want to eliminate that platform risk.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are trying to build them all at the same time, what's most likely to happen is that none of them work. So I actually
Yep.
think, Lily, you followed a good playbook,
Thank
and
you. I did too.
the timing was just unfortunate, and
Mm-hmm.
that's part of where like every successful business owner who's really good can tell you how they got lucky.
Yep.
And your timing was just a little off, so you need to build a different marketing strategy now.
Yep.
But as soon as that new marketing strategy is working, then you want to start implementing more anyway. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I just was told that I have 8 minutes left before I need to literally go.
why?
So let's do this, and then I'll read Kian's note next time we do Bad Cold Outreach, which we haven't set the date yet. We haven't
All right,
decided whether we're gonna do this regularly, weekly, monthly. Devin and
sounds
I will
good.
talk about it after.
So this was a really good example of what I would call good cold outreach. And they didn't do anything immaculate or spectacular,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of my example of how easy it can be. They didn't even personalize this, if we're going to be
Yeah.
frank. So it's not hard, especially I'm going to respond to 100% of my DMs. And usually I trash people because they suck that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm an easy person to sell if you don't suck. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so just reached out and said, "Hey, Devin, I might be able to link you up with some people who could be interested in your service. Are you accepting new clients for your agency? And how much do you typically charge?" Now, when I looked at that, my first thought was like, um, should I say something about like, yeah, I pay pretty well for referrals? Um, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just like, I'm gonna respond something, and it's just how much do I typically charge? Well, there's no answer
Yeah.
to that question, so it depends
Yeah.
on the service. And well, do you have a SMMA, so social media marketing agency? No, but I do have a few clients that we do social posting for. Now, look at how their responses don't necessarily look like they were customized to me, right? Because their next question is just,
Oh yeah, huh?
I have a team of appointment setters that work solely on commission and use a 4-step process to book 20 to 48 appointments per month. It's 100% done for you and performance based. If I could give you that, would you be opposed to hearing how that would work? So I asked if they work for other industries. Uh, they said yes. And the reason I asked is because I don't really care about growing my agency, but I care about growing my coaching business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so when they said, yeah, we work with any local business, I said, all right, I've had horrible experience with appointment setters, so I'm pretty skeptical, but I'm willing to talk. So
Yeah.
what did they do that I'm saying is good cold outreach, even though there's nothing personalized here? There's nothing unique to me.
Um, they asked genuine questions.
Yes, they asked questions.
Yeah.
Those
And
question
they
marks.
didn't offer, so they had like a small pitch of like just like the reason why they reached out to you,
Yep.
the context. So they added context, but they didn't pitch in their
hmm
first message,
hmm
which is
And
yeah.
you're asking me questions about me, which
Yeah.
means I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
And
People
then
yeah.
after I've responded to a couple questions you've asked, you give me a pitch that is, can we talk? Well,
Mhm.
I feel obligated to continue this conversation because there's social protocol in place because
Yep.
you've asked me questions about me and we started talking.
Yep.
So I have to respond to this. And you haven't done anything offensive. So I'm not going to respond in a negative way, probably, which
Mhm.
means this script, as simple as it is, and the fact that you could literally rip it off, it probably like psychologically strong arms people into saying yes.
Mhm.
So I think it's actually a brilliant script, and it's more canned than I want to admit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love the idea though, because like I definitely fall into the line of being hesitant, very careful around not pitching in my first message.
Mhm.
But then it's like, how do I describe what I do? Being very clear that this isn't a pitch. And
Mhm.
I think that's the verbiage that I need is give context, not a pitch. So
Mhm.
that's all it is. Context and a question. That's the outreach.
Mhm.
Man, we could make a whole course. Probably not a whole course, because that is the training is add context and a question in your first message.
Questions are magic when it comes to human psychology.
Yep, that's how we
So
met.
facts.
Yeah. And also like it isn't that special, and that's why like someone like because like I think a lot of the people in the group are men. So I'm gonna give you this example. When you are dating men or trying to date men online, there are way more men on dating apps. So, by supply and demand, your bare minimum for who you interact with becomes a lot higher. And a lot of people do not make that bare minimum. Like when we see in sales. Like when I see a lot of our bad cold outreach, like this one, like mine, there's a lot of people doing that. So your bare
Mhm.
minimum becomes higher. But if you meet that bare minimum, it's not special. Like the bare minimum is not something special. It's not something flashy. It's not something
Mhm.
extreme. It's just that it's a bare minimum, and I will interact with you.
Yep. And
Um,
fun story too. I had the sales call with the guy yesterday.
mhm.
Not the guy who sent this message because he's an appointment setter for the guy. But we had a conversation. He's like, at a certain point, because I don't want to grow my agency, he's like, so why did you schedule this call? And I was like, because any appointment setter that gets me to want to get on a call is an appointment setter I want on my side.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
appointment setters suck. This guy
yeah.
didn't. So whatever you're doing is
Wow,
actually good.
wow, it's quite high praise. Okay, with that, I need to go. Um, this was so fun, regardless of all the disaster tech. I think we'll just stick to your method of doing things instead of my overly complicated but better way of doing things.
It looks better when it works,
Yeah.
right? So that's
That's the problem with everything I do. Everything I do is high tech, but Devin, do your thing.
yeah. So guys, most of you should know this already. If you don't know this, I don't know how you don't know this because I've been talking about it a lot. I have a new book out, and the book actually has an entire chapter dedicated to marketing strategies, and it's by far the thickest chapter. It's chapter 5, titled Networking and Marketing. Everything in that chapter is things you can do with zero money to grow your business. So when we talk about cold outreach, that's a strategy. But if you don't have a holistic approach to marketing, you're probably not going to be that successful with any strategy because technology changes, the world changes,
Mhm.
people don't, but everything about how we interact with them does. So this is a book that I would highly recommend that you consider looking into if you have any desire to actually grow your business. And if you don't, then get out of the group. Like, because we're here to help people grow their business.
Mhm.
So if you are interested, just make a comment on this video, make a comment, and I will send you a link for it. I'm giving it away for free. I'm just asking that you pay $9 shipping and handling. I spent 9 years building this book, and I just asking $9 from you. If you're willing to do that, you can have the book, and you will learn everything that I know about building a business, everything that I've done to help Lily, everything that I've done to help people in this group like Keon and Keith, and you're going to get it for free. Just cover shipping and handling.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Devin. With that, we'll go. We'll see you next time at an unspecified date here on Bad Cold Outrage. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that's the clip. I love you guys so much. I'll be back in your earbuds once again tomorrow. God bless.